Hey everyone, welcome back to the light inside me, where we break free from mental constraints and level up our life skills through timeless philosophy. Today, we've got something special lined up for you. We're diving into powerful lessons that can reshape the way you tackle life's challenges, overcome obstacles, and stay grounded even when success comes knocking. Ever wonder how to ditch those prepackaged scripts and respond to life's curveballs with clarity and confidence? Or why sometimes the long, winding road is actually the smartest path forward? What about staying humble and true to yourself when everything's going right when you're winning? And how do you know when your first impression might just be completely wrong? Stick with us, because today we're unpacking practical wisdom from ancient philosophers' insights you can actually use in your modern, messy, this beautiful life. So if you're ready to train your mind, embrace the long journey. Sadom. Stay grounded and challenge your assumptions you're in the right place. If you enjoy this series, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and give us a thumbs up to show your support. And drop a keep it up in the comments if this series has been lighting a fire in you. All right, let's get into it. A trained mind is better than any script. All right, folks, let's talk about being ready for life, really ready. Not with memorized lines or canned responses. Not with step-by-step formulas someone handed you in a book or YouTube video. We're talking about something deeper. A trained mind. A mind that's flexible. Sharp and steady, able to meet life's chaos without falling apart. The script kiddie trap. We live in a world obsessed with scripts. Scripts for job interviews. Scripts for first dates. Even scripts for breaking up. We memorize phrases. Follow templates. And try to squeeze ourselves into ready-made boxes. But here's the thing. Life doesn't follow a script. It throws curveballs. It rewrites the scene halfway through. It punches you in the face when you least expect it. As Mike Tyson famously said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So what's the real solution? Not a better script, but a better mind. The Stoic upgrade. The ancient Stoics got it. Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, they didn't obsess over controlling outcomes. They focused on training the mind, developing the ability to adapt, respond, and remain rational no matter what. Epictetus put it perfectly. As it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You don't need a flawless plan. You need mental agility, the inner strength to navigate life's unpredictability with grace and clarity. So how do you build that kind of mind? 5 ways to train your mind. Embrace the unknown. Life will surprise you. That's not a bug. That's a feature. Instead of fearing the unknown, dive into it. Let it challenge you. Stretch you. Wake you up, as Alan Watts said. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Cultivate curiosity. Read. Explore. Question. Learn like your freedom depends on it, because it does. The physicist Richard Feynman once said, "The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool." Practice problem solving. Don't run from hard things. Run toward them. Every challenge is a chance to build your thinking muscle. Thomas Edison said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10 ways that won't work." Develop emotional resilience. You're going to get knocked down. What matters is how you get back up and how you carry yourself through the mess. Psychologist Susan David calls this emotional agility, the ability to be with your emotions with curiosity, compassion, and the courage to take values-aligned action. Build a strong inner compass. Know what you stand for. When chaos hits, your values will keep you grounded. Philosopher Immanuel Kant put it this way: act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in another, never merely as a means, but always as an end. Real-life applications. The adaptable entrepreneur. When the market crashes or a pandemic strikes, they pivot, they find new ground and keep going. The resilient athlete, injury doesn't end their journey, it reshapes it. They heal, adapt, and return stronger. The creative problem solver, they don't get stuck, they reframe the problem. Look at it sideways and innovate. Its bottom line. A trained mind is your greatest asset. It beats any script, formula, or cheat code, because life isn't about perfect preparation. It's about preparedness. And as Seneca said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So prepare your mind, and when life throws something unexpected your way, you'll be ready. Not with a script, but with something far more powerful. It's clarity, karma multis calm, and courage lives the long way around. Shortcuts suck. The scenic route is where it's at. All right, folks, let's talk about taking the long way. And no, we're not talking about getting lost on a road trip or avoiding traffic with a back road detour, though those have their charm. We're talking about something deeper, a mindset, a philosophical approach to life that values the journey just as much, if not more, than the destination. It's about choosing depth over speed, growth over convenience, and substance over hacks. The shortcut seduction. We live in a world addicted to speed. Fast food. Fast fashion. Fast followers. We crave instant results, and we're constantly bombarded with shortcuts, life hacks, and one simple trick gimmicks. But here's the truth. Shortcuts often lead to dead ends. They may shave off time, but they usually cost us depth, wisdom, and meaning. As the saying goes, the shortest distance between 2 points isn't always a straight line. The philosophical detour. Ancient philosophers like Confucius and Lao Tzu saw the power of the long path. They believed that slow, deliberate effort builds character, resilience, and understanding. So, Confucius said, it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. In other words, even slow progress is still progress. And often, the best lessons in life are learned along the way, not just when we arrive. Why choose the long way? Deeper learning. Taking your time means you actually learn. You make mistakes. You adjust. You grow. That struggle, that's where wisdom gets built. It's not fast, but it's real. Character building. Adversity forces you to dig deep. You develop grit, patience, and determination, the kind of stuff shortcuts can't teach. Smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. Unexpected discoveries. The scenic route opens you up to the unexpected. New people, new insights, new directions. You don't find magic on the freeway, you find it when you slow down and look around. Greater appreciation. When you work for something, you value it. When you take your time, you savor each milestone. As poet Mary Oliver said, instructions for living a life. Pay attention. Be astonished. Tell about it. Real-life examples. The entrepreneur's journey. Most successful entrepreneurs didn't go viral overnight. They struggled for years building, failing, learning, and it's that long, hard road that taught them what it really takes to succeed. The artist's process. Great art isn't born in a burst of inspiration. It's shaped over time through drafts, dead ends, sonora, and messy revisions. True artists embrace the long game, the path of personal growth. There's no quick fix for becoming who you're meant to be. Growth takes time. It takes facing your fears, challenging old beliefs, and stepping into discomfort again and again. The bottom line, taking the long way isn't inefficient. It's how you build depth, meaning, and strength. It's how you become someone who isn't just chasing results, but earning them. The most valuable things in life take time, effort, and dedication to grow. As Lao Tzu put it, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So slow down. Take the long road, and trust that every step you take is shaping you into something stronger. Cue soft transition to lesson 3. Don't let this go to your head. Test your impressions. Don't trust everything you think. All right, folks. Let's talk about impressions. No, not the kind where you imitate Elvis or do a spot-on celebrity impersonation. Though those can be fun. We're talking about something far more important, those quick judgments we make, often without realizing it. The gut feelings, the snap decisions, the first impressions that come flooding in before we've even had a chance to think. We live in a world obsessed with appearances. We swipe left or right based on a few curated photos. We size someone up in the first 30 seconds of a job interview. We form opinions about strangers from a single tweet or Instagram post. But here's the problem: first impressions are often wrong. They're based on surface-level observations, stereotypes, and most of all our own biases. As the old saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. But let's go deeper. The ancient philosophers like Socrates, the Buddha, and Epictetus knew better. They warned us not to trust appearances. They urged us to question our assumptions and dig beneath the surface. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But we might say, the unexamined impression is not worth trusting. So, how do we avoid getting fooled by our own minds? First, take the skeptic's stance. Don't just accept things at face value. Ask questions. Look for evidence. Challenge what seems obvious. Doubt, as Voltaire put it, may not be comfortable, but it's necessary. Second, play devil's advocate. Turn your judgments on their heads. Argue against your own conclusions. As physicist Richard Feynman said, the first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. Third, become an information gatherer. Don't rely on one source, one moment, one opinion. Seek out opposing views. Read widely. Talk to people who disagree with you. Challenge your bubble. Fourth, keep an open mind. Be ready to admit when you're wrong. Be willing to change your perspective when new information emerges. Bertrand Russell once said, "The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, but wiser people so full of doubts." Fifth, apply the test of time. Let people and situations unfold. Don't rush to conclusions. Let your understanding evolve with time and experience. Let's bring this to real life. At a job interview, don't reduce someone to their resume or looks. Ask deeper questions. Look for substance. On a dating app, don't judge based on photos and a witty bio. Take time to understand who's behind the screen. In a political debate, don't just echo your favorite pundit. Do your own research. Seek out differing viewpoints. Listen before reacting. The bottom line, your brain loves shortcuts. But the truth, most of our impressions are built on limited data and distorted by emotion, memory, and bias. If you want to be wise, if you want to see clearly, you have to question what you think you know. Doubt your first reaction. Examine your second. Trust what endures over time. As Voltaire said, doubt is not a pleasant condition, but certainty is absurd. Judgments cause disturbance. Your brain's a drama queen. Don't let it steal your peace. Let's have a heart-to-heart about something we all do, but rarely stop to notice. Judging. No, not reality TV judging or fashion police-style commentary, though we've all done that. We're talking about the judgments we pass every single day. About other people, about situations, about ourselves. Our brains are like junkyards piled high with rusty old judgments. We judge people based on their clothes, their voice, their job, or what they post online. We judge situations based on what we've seen before or what we're afraid might happen again. And worst of all, we judge ourselves. We become our harshest critic, our own worst enemy. But here's the kicker. Most of those judgments aren't just unfair, they're completely wrong, and they cause real harm. They create conflict, deepen misunderstandings, and stir up emotional chaos. As the Buddha said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent to throw it at someone else. You're the one who gets burned. The Stoics saw this clearly. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. It's not the traffic jam that ruins your day. It's your story about how that jam is unacceptable. It's not the bad news that breaks your heart. It's your belief that this shouldn't be happening." So how do we stop our brains from turning every little thing into a full-blown drama? First, awareness is everything. You can't change what you don't notice. So start paying attention. Catch your judgments in the act. Notice the labels, the snap reactions, the silent critiques. Second is question everything. Just because a thought pops into your head doesn't mean it's true. Ask, is this really accurate? What evidence do I have? Could there be another explanation? Third, practice empathy. Try to see from the other person's point of view. What might they be feeling? What don't you know about their story? Fourth, live in the now. Judgments usually come from the past or worry about the future. But peace lives in the present. Drop the labels. Be with what is, as it is. Fifth, cultivate acceptance. Life won't always go your way. People will mess up. Plans will fall apart. Accept that not as defeat, but as reality. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing peace over pointless resistance. Let's take it to real life. That road rage moment. Instead of assuming the driver is a jerk, consider maybe they're dealing with an emergency or maybe they just made a mistake like we all do. That picture-perfect Instagram post. Before you compare or judge. Remember, it's a highlight reel. You're not seeing the full story. That inner critic tearing you apart. Pause. Breathe. Remind yourself that you're human. Mistakes are part of growth, not proof of failure. The bottom line, judgment is a reflex, but wisdom is a practice. When you let go of constant evaluation, you make space for understanding, for peace, and for clarity. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So choose wisely. Let go of the noise. Let go of the judgment. And reclaim your inner stillness. If you want to learn, be humble. Your ego is the tripwire on the path to wisdom. All right, folks. Let's have a heart-to-heart about humility. No, we're not talking about being a doormat or constantly putting yourself down. We're talking about a quiet kind of confidence, one that's rooted in self-awareness, not self-importance. It's the kind of humility that opens minds, builds bridges, and paves the way for lifelong learning. The ego's roadblock. Let's be real, we all have egos. That voice in our heads craving validation, wanting to be right, wanting to be better than the next person. It whispers, I already know that. I'm smarter. I've got this all figured out. But here's the catch. That same ego becomes a roadblock. It blinds us. It deafens us to new ideas. And it slams the door shut on the very growth we claim to want. As Socrates once said, I know that I know nothing. And that's not ignorance, it's wisdom in its purest form. The power of humility. Humility isn't weakness. It's not insecurity. It's a superpower. It's the ability to step back and say, I don't know everything. And that's okay because I want to learn. And when you lead with that kind of mindset, here's what happens. You become open to new ideas. A humble person doesn't shut the book after one chapter. They keep reading. Keep questioning. Keep learning. As Richard Feynman said, you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. You learn from everyone, not just professors or CEOs. You learn from the janitor, the kid at the corner store, your Uber driver. Because humility reminds you, everyone knows something you don't. You build deeper relationships. Humble people listen. They don't need to dominate the room. But that makes them more likable, more trustworthy, and more connected to others. You develop a growth mindset. When you're humble, failure isn't shameful, it's useful. It's feedback, a lesson, it's a stepping stone. You end up more successful. Ironically, the humble outperform the arrogant. Why? Because they seek feedback, own their mistakes, and collaborate, and that's the real formula for long-term success. Real-world wisdom. Look around and you'll see humility in action. The humble CEO doesn't hoard credit or micromanage. They empower their team, foster collaboration, and create space for innovation. The lifelong learner is always reading, exploring, and seeking out mentors. They don't pretend to know it all. They're addicted to discovering more. The wise elder doesn't preach from a pedestal. They share wisdom freely, listen deeply, and never stop asking questions. The bottom line, humility isn't about shrinking, it's about grounding. It's knowing your strengths without inflating them. It's admitting your weaknesses without being ashamed of them. It's remembering that you are a small but meaningful part of a vast and mysterious universe. As Lao Tzu put it, knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. So drop the ego, embrace humility, and unlock the door to a life of wisdom, growth, and deep learning. Reject tantalizing gifts. Handcuffs in disguise. All right, folks, let's talk about temptation. And no, not just the extra slice of pizza or that flash sale on your favorite app. We're diving deeper into the kind of temptation that looks like an opportunity, smells like success, and sparkles just enough to make you say yes before thinking twice. We're talking about the seductive, tantalizing gift, those shiny offers that promise more ease, more status, or more pleasure, but often come wrapped in invisible handcuffs. The siren song of temptation. We live in a world that thrives on distraction. Everywhere we turn, we're bombarded with promises. Get rich quick. You lose weight fast. Make 6 figures in 6 weeks. But here's the problem: most of these glittering gifts come with hidden costs. As in the ancient myth, Tantalus was cursed to stand forever thirsty and hungry, with fruit and water just out of reach, eternally tempted, never fulfilled. That's what these false gifts do. They keep us chasing. They don't feed us. They bind us. The Stoic reality check. The ancient Stoic Socrates, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, they knew something modern marketing doesn't want you to remember. What looks like gold might just be a chain. As Epictetus put it, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In other words, freedom doesn't come from having more, it comes from needing less. So how do we train ourselves to reject these tempting traps? Take the long view. Before jumping at the shiny thing, ask, will this bring lasting joy or just a quick hit? Where will I be 6 months from now because of this choice? Run a value check. Does this align with who you are and what you believe in? Is this offer expanding your purpose or distracting you from it? As Kant said, act in such a way that you treat humanity, never merely as a means to an end. That includes you. Don't use yourself up for something hollow. Count the opportunity cost. Every yes costs you something. Time. Energy. Integrity. What are you giving up in exchange for this gift? Is it worth it? As economist Milton Friedman famously said, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Do the gut check. If something feels too good to be true, it probably is. Your gut is smarter than you think. Listen to it. Real life examples. Tantalizing traps. The golden handcuffs job. A high salary. A fancy title, but soul-sucking hours. No family time. And constant stress. Is that success? Or is it a cage? Here, the Faustian bargain. A shortcut to fame or success, but at the cost of your values. Integrity once sold is hard to buy back. The influencer deal. Big money for promoting something you don't believe in. Are you building your legacy or just leasing your voice? The bottom line. Temptation is all around us, but you don't have to fall for every glittering thing that crosses your path. You don't have to trade long-term peace for short-term pleasure. By zooming out, checking your values, weighing the true cost, and trusting your inner compass, you can break free from the trap of tantalizing gifts. As Viktor Frankl said, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. So, choose yours. Don't let the world choose for you. Becoming an expert in what matters. Trade the jack-of-all-trades mentality. Master your craft. All right, folks, let's talk about becoming an expert. Not the kind who drops random facts at trivia night or shows off obscure knowledge at parties. We're talking about the kind of real mastery that earns trust, drives purpose, and makes a lasting impact. The kind of expertise that's rooted in deep focus, deliberate practice, and a clear sense of purpose. The jack-of-all-trades trap. Today's world celebrates versatility. We're told to stay broad, be adaptable, have 10 skills on our resume. But here's the downside. When you try to do everything, you rarely become excellent at anything. Sure, there's the old saying, jack of all trades, master of none. But even the extended version adds, but often better than a master of one. Fair enough, flexibility is valuable. But when it comes to making a real impact, depth beats breadth. True expertise, real mastery comes from narrowing your focus and going deep. The philosophical foundation. Ancient thinkers like Aristotle and Confucius knew this well. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Mastery isn't luck. It's the result of consistent effort, focused intention, and lifelong learning. So how do we become experts in what truly matters? Identify your passion. What lights you up? What could you study or do for hours without getting bored? Your passion is your internal fuel. Without it, the pursuit of mastery becomes a grind. Focus your energy. Once you've found your passion, protect it. Don't scatter your attention trying to be everything to everyone. Say no to distractions. Create time in your life to go deep. Practice with purpose. Mastery isn't just repetition, it's deliberate practice. Focus on your weaknesses. Stretch your limits. As Anders Ericsson, the psychologist behind the 10-0-0 rule, said, the right kind of practice, over a long enough time, leads to improvement. Nothing else. Seek mentorship. A mentor sees your blind spots and your potential. Learn from those who've walked the path before you. Ask for feedback. Says, stay coachable. A mentor is someone who sees more talent in you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out. Embrace failure. Failure isn't the enemy, it's a teacher. Every expert you admire has failed more than you've even tried. Study your mistakes. Adjust. And keep going. That's the path to mastery. Real-world masters. The chess grandmaster. Thousands of games studied, endless hours of practice. A mind sharpened through focus and failure. Nilumam, the Michelin star chef. Years perfecting the balance of flavors. Techniques and creativity. Not just cooking, crafting, and experience. The award-winning author. Endless drafts, rewrites, feedback loops, and storytelling mastery. Their brilliance, it's earned, not gifted. The bottom line, becoming an expert isn't about being the best at everything. It's about discovering what truly matters to you. And then going all in. Focus your energy. Practice with intention. Seek wisdom. Embrace failure. That's how you build a life of impact. Depth and purpose. As Confucius said, choose a job you love, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. So what will you choose to master?